Health Director Annette Rodriguez and Dr. Chris Bird are addressing questions received this week. Please feel free to add your follow-up questions to chat. The World Health Organization declared the novel coronavirus outbreak a global pandemic on March 11th, 2020. Texas has now expanded vaccine eligibility to include Phase 1C. That's people 15 to 64 years of age, and that begins this Monday, March 15th. Today's topics: Save Our Seniors, the waiting period for vaccines, and our weekly healthy lifestyle check-in. Dr. Bird.
Thanks, Jason. So, Annette, how have the vaccinations been going this week?
They've been going really well. So next week is week 13 allocation, and we actually got next week's allocation early. So we got it yesterday. It just arrives now on our doorstep, 5,000 vaccines, which is really awesome. But because of that, we started a vaccination clinic today. So we actually are at Richard Borchard Fairgrounds, and we are planning to vaccinate 6,000 people today. So we hope everybody shows up for their appointment. We understand that it's spring break for some people. It's the best thing to do during spring break is to get your first Moderna vaccine from the health district. So we have a steady stream of cars coming in. It's going well today. But I think what people need to remember is that means next Tuesday, we're not vaccinating because we're already vaccinating them a few days early, which is today.
Okay, so it's important for everybody to keep their ear to the ground to hear when the new vaccination shipments land, because we're trying to get them into people's arms as fast as possible, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so our first question over the past week is, how did the Save Our Seniors vaccination program come about?
So, we were basically thinking about the most vulnerable populations, and we knew that people over the age of 65 were a vulnerable population, but we also knew that because we were starting our drive-thrus, that there were individuals that couldn't get to our drive-thrus, because our drive-thrus are not meant for everybody. The drive-thrus are meant for people that are pretty hardy, that, can actually sustain being in a car for long hours. And so there's a group of people that weren't eligible, basically. And so that's kind of how it came about. We started talking with myself. I reached out to the fire chief, and we started talking about how can we do this together. And so the goal was to be able to come up with a plan, which we came up with using the Meals on Wheels, because these are individuals that are already signed up for a program. So using Meals on Wheels kind of as a stepping stone, if you will, to start getting some of these more vulnerable populations vaccinated. And so that's how we ended up with SOS, Saving Our Seniors. And we actually just opened today the hotline today. It's 1-888-728-0018. And that opened today at noon. And so we're going to register 500 people, and then we will actually take care of them next week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Okay, excellent. So that number, 888-728-0018. And Tiffany, will we post that on social media? All right, perfect. Thank you. Okay, on to the next question. And it's about how long do you need to wait to get your vaccine after you have COVID? So, Annette.
So initially, we were told that CDC basically recommended that you wait 90 days at least. They've done away with that recommendation, and so now you can get vaccinated as soon as you're well. And that means completely well. That doesn't mean that you're still coughing or that you're still running a temperature. You really want to be completely well from COVID before you get a vaccine. So, and that's really true for any vaccine that you're getting. You don't want to get a vaccine when you're sick, because then you don't know, did the vaccine have an adverse reaction, or it was just because you were sick and you were taking a vaccine. So wait until you're completely well, at least, I would say at least a week or two after you've recovered, and then come by and we'll definitely vaccinate you, because we want as many people vaccinated in our community. So we all know we're trying to reach herd immunity, and that we're a ways from getting there at this point.
Okay, and the follow-up question on that is, should a person get vaccinated, I guess, while they're still feeling the effects of COVID? What kind of side effects might they encounter? Why is it being discouraged to get your vaccination then?
And it's like you're already building up antibodies because you're having a natural immunity effect because you have COVID-19. And so now you're getting a vaccine that actually is trying to give you more antibodies to protect you. And so you really just don't want to put those too close together. You want to wait, a reasonable time frame and be feeling healthy and well before you do that. So it's a little different though for monoclonal antibodies. If you've taken monoclonals because you were positive for COVID-19, you do have to wait the 3 months. That's the recommendation from CDC. Because monoclonals are giving you a lot of antibodies, all at once to kind of boost your immunity and say, recognize this is COVID-19 and fight like heck. And so you don't want to get monoclonals and then get a COVID vaccine on top of that and then get a second dose on top of that as well. So they ask that you wait the 90 days if you've received monoclonals.
Right, and as always, make sure you consult your physicians on these types of medical decisions. So those are the questions that we had posed. Tiffany and Jason, have we gotten any new questions for this week?
Yes, somebody commented that a woman has chills after getting her Moderna second shot yesterday. She is 70 years of age at least. How long after, if it continues, should we get concerned to go to the doctor?
So if it continues for more than 3 days, you're not getting any better after 3 days, then you need to be consulting a physician. If you continue to progressively get worse, like you feel like you can't hold anything down, you feel like you can't stand up, when you're sick enough that you're saying, I need to go to the emergency room, you start feeling like your heart racing. There's a lot of different things what would normally trigger you to go to the emergency room? That's the same thing for this. For chills, after a second Moderna vaccine, that's very common. On day 2, we did Church Unlimited yesterday for a lot of teachers, and we told them, this is your second vaccine, so tomorrow you may not be feeling so great. It may go into the following day. And so, but normally as quickly as that comes on is as quickly as it disappears. Take some Tylenol, take some Advil, whatever makes you feel better, get some rest, and then you should be feeling fine in a day or 2.
Yeah, that's what it was for me. It took about a day and a half till I felt feverish and had a headache, and then that lasted for maybe 24 hours, and then it went away and I felt better again. I'm sure different people have different responses, but
right.
that would fit within your 3-day window guidance there, that I was feeling better before the 3 days.
Right. So, I was day 7 when my arm started getting red and hot, which I thought was really strange. So on my second vaccine, it was day 7, and then all of a sudden my arm felt like it was getting really hot. And I looked at it and it was getting like a welt on it. It almost looked like somebody had grabbed that arm. So I could see like hand marks, I guess where the vaccine kind of travels. But I just thought it was interesting because it wasn't day 2 or day 3 or day 4, it was day 7. But as you get older, and I'm older, as you get older, the responses are usually less and less. So not for everybody, but for the majority of the people, they're less and less. So I didn't get the headache, I didn't get the chills, but my arm did get red and hot.
All right, do you have other questions? Okay, so our long-standing topic for 2021 is trying to get back in shape after 2020. This is a pact between Annette and I to be more healthy. And so, Annette, have you been able to do anything this past week to stay in shape?
I have. So to get in shape, you mean not stay in shape. I'm not in shape at all. So, but I did some push-ups. I did a couple of days of 20 push-ups every day, and so, which was really tough for me. I used to be able to do 40 easily, and 20 was like I was taking breaks in between. So anyway, as I guess everybody knows, as you gain more weight, it's harder on your arms to have to do those push-ups. So there was that, and I'm just trying to move more. I need to get my Fitbit back on because I really want to start tracking how much walking around we're doing, because I need to be doing more miles every day. And so I haven't gotten to that yet. I have it. I just need to go get it out of the box and put it on. But I'm getting there.
Yeah, I rode my bike a couple times, and I've been digging up weeds around our yard. The freeze kind of made all the weeds stick out when everything else nice died. And I've been doing that to get in shape this week. I haven't weighed myself, so I don't know if I lost any weight. We'll see next week.
I haven't lost any weight, so I know that because I did get on the scale. But oh well, I'm going to keep pushing and keep trying. That's all I can do at this point.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, and it's important to stay in shape because having a higher BMI, which is your body mass index, puts you at risk for a variety of diseases, including worse symptoms with COVID-19. And so that's one of the reasons why we're talking about this each week, to raise awareness on that.
That's correct. The other thing I wanted to mention, Dr. Bird, is that a lot of people are asking us about Johnson & Johnson, the one vaccine. So the health district has not received any Johnson & Johnson yet. What I can tell you is that there's about almost 2,000 Johnson & Johnson vaccines have come into our community. So they're not going to be easy to find right now. So the majority of them are at outpatient clinics, and that's like Surgicare. So as these individuals are coming through and having procedures, maybe a tonsillectomy, then they can get a Johnson & Johnson and they're done. So again, we have not received Johnson & Johnson at this time. We're waiting for it. We hope we get it. But I think the other part to that is that you really can't be particular. We've seen people that are waiting for Johnson & Johnson and they've actually gotten COVID-19. So I would say if you're eligible and you know someplace that has vaccines, get your vaccine. Even if it means coming back for a second dose, you know, the Moderna and the Pfizer are 95% effective after the second dose. And we really want everybody protected. So don't just use that as, you know, I'm waiting for Johnson & Johnson, because it's going to be a while before we get those vaccines here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really important not to wait, and when you're eligible, to go and seek out a vaccine for yourself. Because otherwise this will stretch on longer if too many people delay it.
That's very true.
Okay, well, I think that's our show for this week. Jason, you want to take us home?
One more question.
Oh, we have another question. All right.
Yes. What are plans to vaccinate the homeless and those in shelters?
So, you know, if they're eligible, you know, they can get vaccinated now. So again, finding a location. So it's the harder part. But we're also talking with the fire department, and we're also talking about them using Johnson & Johnson to vaccinate the homeless population. So it's a little harder to schedule second doses. Sometimes they don't have phones, you know, and so we're trying to make it as easy for certain populations to just be able to get that one vaccine. But again, we haven't received any at this time. So.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. And I want to thank everyone for watching, especially if you submitted a question. In this Q&A, there's no Q without you. Also, thank you to everybody for your ongoing contributions to curbing the pandemic. The next task force report will be uploaded this afternoon to social media. Please join us every Friday at noon for the question and answer session. Please remember to direct questions or comments to @CBCovid on social media. And as always, have a wonderful and very safe weekend.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.